Howdy there, and welcome to the next one in the JSA Army box unpacking, opening up videos. And this time we're just checking out the Kempeitai and the Oniwaban, and doing these guys together because I'll paint them in my I'll just paint them because I'll keep them in line with the other guys that I've already done. So if you're interested in how I'm doing these, check out the Kempeitai and the Oniwaban videos, and I'll basically be doing them in a similar fashion to those videos. The other Kempeitai I've got is the one from JSA Army set, Army box, the Japanese sectorial army for the Eugene box where you get the 6-fig minis, as opposed to the JSA Army Pack, which is what these guys are from. And again, we're seeing the scale creep. I think I'd say they're about 28mm now rather than true 25s, so the next thing you know they'll be the same size as GW stuff. Although by the time this is the size of GW stuff, man, GW stuff will probably be like a foot tall or something. But you know, scale creep, it's a thing, it happens. It's understandable. They're trying to make minis which are competitive in terms of details, and obviously the bigger a miniature is, the more detail you can squeeze into it. I do think they squeeze an awful lot of very good detail into these. Gorsbo does a fantastic job of putting every possible detail in, and they are beautiful. So I'm just going to check them out and see how much cleaning up and what needs to be done. My only slight concern about this one is I'm not sure if I will be able to mount the Oniwaban how I want to. I might have to look into drilling one of the bases and cutting that little tab so it's very thin, and I can slot it into a drilled hole, and it might all go horribly wrong, but we shall see. First up though, let's get these cleaned up and prepped and ready to go. So then Kempeitai, and I've checked him out, and he has essentially one very fine cast line which you can't see from this angle, and I've got him upside down by the way because of the way he was out, the way he lies flat on his back because of his coat, sorry, means that he's it's like his feet are up in the air and you can't see the rest of him. But there's a very faint trace element of a cast line along the edge, but other than that it's pretty immaculately clean. As you can see, the gun arm has one of my disliked injection points, but it's for a reason, and that is because there is a square hole which attaches onto the arm here. And you don't want to inject into that because otherwise, yeah, it will mess up the whole thing and mean that it won't slot together properly, so fair play to them really. And then I'm a bit confused with this sword because he's holding it upright in his left hand, right, and it's scabbarded, or it's a stun baton, but I think it's meant to be a scabbarded sword. It's a little bit confusing for me. But again, injection point, I'm not keen on that as an injection point because I tend to find that these have a lot of flex in them, but then again you can straighten them out easily, so not such a problem. Other than that, just top and tail and a bit of a cast line on the sword here, but it's pretty good. It's up to the kind of standard you might expect and come to have learned to love from Corvus Belli. But either way, it's not absolutely top notch. The other thing I've been noticing with these guys, and I'll have to check with these, didn't show the balance points on the other guys that I've done, but these minis don't have a balance point. The older ones, one of the things I really liked about them was they actually stood up on their own 2 feet, like they would balance once I'd cut them away from the base, whereas these ones, their centre of balance isn't quite right, and I think it does come across a little bit in the poses. Some of them are much more dynamic, yep, but some of them actually they lack the centeredness that the older models have. So I think there's a balance to be struck. I think the detail wise these are much neater, much cleaner. The details are much more easy to paint, I think, looking at them, because they're not like teeny weeny. But either way, there you have it. That is the Kempeitai, and onto the Oniwaban. Okay, here we have the Oniwaban then. And again, there is a very fine cast line running around the edge, and it does run over the back of his head, so that will need a little bit of a clean up, otherwise it will come out in the painting and be really obvious. Same applies to the leg along the leading edge of the foot there. there is a bit of a cast line which will need cleaning up, but I must say I do love the details of the grip on the bottom of the foot. I think these are some of the kind of details that really make the difference. I thought about the mundane things as well as the sort of important things. And the sword, not keen on this injection point, but I'm not keen on the side ones, but again it is for a reason, and that is that the arm has a square slot, and so you don't want it going into the square slot, although personally I think I would have preferred it to be adjacent to the square slot rather than coming out the side of his arm. It is coming off a plate in all fairness, which means as long as you cut it clean and flush it should come out fine, but it's just one of those slight sticking points for me. I do like the post for this, and it's great if you're using the slaughter base. I'm not using slaughter bases, but we shall see, shan't we? So I'm just going to get these fellas cleaned up. Oh, the other point to make is the sword arm, I couldn't find a cast line, and if it is, I think it runs along the leading edge of the sword, so it disappears into the sword. It doesn't run over any of the plates, or if it does, I haven't been able to find it. So the sword arm, apart from the injection points and everything, and as ever, no flash, just straight up miniatures. So I am now going to cut these to pieces, and we shall see how easy they are to dismember and assemble. So catch you in a second. Yeah, then all assembled, ready for painting. I did find a little bit of flash on the sword arm of the Oniwaban, which I hadn't noticed before. But that to one side. Very easy to assemble. I must say the fixed square socket system that is used by Corvus Belli for fitting everything. It does make it very easy to fit. And occasionally you can have different poses, like the Kempeitai on the left here. You could have his shotgun either sort of pointing up in the air. I found out that when I was looking at it, so there was sort of a couple of postures that you could pull off with him where it wouldn't look rubbish. So there you go, all ready for painting. So I hope this has been something of interest to you, and it's helping you decide whether or not you might want to buy the JSA Army Pack. And thank you for watching, so have a good one and take care. Bye bye.